Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yo 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 yo. What the fuck is up, fight fans? It's your man 3K the Boss, aka Mr. Two Hands Up. You already know what it is, man. It's do say, baby. Hey, look, man. This shit gonna be real different today, cause I'm hearing shit. I'm hearing a lot of shit out here. A lot of people got a lot of shit to say. That's cool. It's a lot of shit that's being said. That's cool. Everybody want to look at shit from, put their little spin on shit. That's cool. So yeah, we're gonna talk about this shit. And I'm just gonna give my perspective on it, my perspective on the whole thing. And honestly, I really don't give two fucks about how necessarily anybody feels about it. I never give two fucks about how anybody feels about it, but I'm just saying, I'm just gonna talk my shit, just like everybody like to talk their shit. I'm sure we all got opinions. They like assholes, right? Everybody got one. So in boxing, it's just certain shit that you just gonna have to do. So, man, fuck it. Why not? So good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's feeling good today. It's the fucking weekend, man. TGIF like a motherfucker. Uh, hey, man, look, man, I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling fucking great. And I hope everybody else is feeling great too, man. Hope everybody looking at their best, feeling at their best, man. Let's just do what the fuck we do, man. Let's start this day off right. Boxing Jedi, salute. Tyree, salute. Arlet, what's up, baby? Salute. Actual facts, salute. Boxing God, 5-5. Bless up, my G. So look, man, I'm gonna just start it off like this. Now I know it's a lot of things that's being said and it's around the Terrence Crawford name and anything, but the first thing that we got to put in, we got to take into consideration in all times, and I know we not, because there's an even bigger elephant in the room when it comes to the whole entire conversation. Period. I repeat, the elephant. There's a bigger elephant in the room. It's that big C, and I ain't talking about Crippen. I'm talking about Canelo. Anything. I've had this conversation a million different times. I don't spend a lot of time on it and shit like that because I know the emotions. I know the type of bitch assness that it brings out of individuals. So if you have the conversation, just be willing to go on a merry-go-round of frustration with a lot of people that are going to look deeper than what is being said. Because once again, I'm always a person that leaves black, white, the whole racial shit up out of it. But I am a person who is very well grounded in what goes on and the type of temperature that's always in the room. So I'll say something without having to necessarily say it, and you can do what you want to do. You can piece together a puzzle, or you can play a game of Jenga, and you can tear it all fucking apart. Because that's what people have a tendency to do with everything in life. So the moment you hear the word black fighter, and then more importantly, I didn't listen to the whole, I got the sound bite. I didn't listen to the whole conversation. I was still looking for it this morning. That's why I was late. I couldn't find it. I said, fuck it. I'm running too late behind the time, so I'm going to listen to that and I'm going to come back to it. But basing what everybody is basing they conversation around and centered around what this whole thing is around, based off of what he said, I already know the two things that a lot of motherfuckers are going to cling on to. They're going to cling on to that word black. They're going to cling on to that word Canelo, and it's going to lead to an uproar, smoke screen. You're going to completely miss it. Now, I'm not down with the fact that Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andre are going to continuously be highlighted in this situation for the simple fact those two gentlemen Okay, when it comes to the conversation, yeah, that's the general direction most people want to go. But I've made it a point, and even in recent weeks, to let it be known that's not where my conversation was. When it comes to Canelo and his opposition, I put out a vote and I asked individuals at 168, if you looked at the things Canelo has done and you looked at the path he's done to get here, are you going to be an individual that says, yes, I'm just satisfied he did what he had to do? Or you going to look at that whole 168 undisputed run like that's something that you can put in the fucking record books? It's something that can truly be appreciated. The level of opposition is more than something to scoff at. I've asked these questions. When I got the votes back, I got back, a lot of people were happy with it. They were more than proud of it. But once again, I know the conversation that is centered around this individual. I know what is completely taboo when it comes to boxing. Canelo is one of them. When it comes to just the African-American diaspora, put that shit together, put any type of racial battle in boxing, it completely clouds just all the type of decision making and the conversation that people are going to have. It's going to completely change. And what I mean by that is the context. You got to put it in proper context. Did Bud technically take the time to do that? Maybe he didn't. But at the end of the day, when you think about the style, when you think about African Americans, and you think about the style, most people will lend that to believing that the slick boxer puncher style was created, or I wouldn't say, was just more synonymous with African Americans. You know, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, they all got it. Honduran fighters, they got it. Shit, Italian fighters, they got it. I've seen Uzbek fighters, they got it. There's certain people have the slick style, but when it goes back to Canelo Alvarez and it goes to the opponent, he got completely outclassed by that boxing style. You've seen it with Floyd Mayweather. So when you watched it again with Arias Landry Lara, what happened? I believe he lost that fight 7-5, got outclassed, used clout. I repeat, use clout, audience cadence, make it look a certain way, like you chasing this man down when really you can't keep up with him in the ring. Crowd starts booing, it looks a certain type of way. It can try to give people perception that he's running. Nah, you just getting outclassed, you couldn't keep up, my nigga. So when it comes to him saying Canelo, I don't think it has any, when it comes to Canelo, when it comes to him speaking on Canelo and the African-American fighter, I don't believe that it necessarily has to do with a person just being black. I think it has more to do with the style, because we know who the style is more synonymous with. We know what countries the style is more synonymous with. And when you look at Canelo and you look at his deficiencies, it's come up against that style. Now, did he take his time to elaborate on it? No. Did he think about how politically correct it could come across and anything like that? Not necessarily. I don't think Bud Crawford really thinks about that too much of any time anyway. I don't really think he necessarily gives a fuck. And which in some cases, if you don't want this type of backlash, in which you should, but it's like, yo, I look at you, boxing is some funny shit, man. It's some funny shit. I ain't gonna sit there and just hold that man's feet to the flames. Okay, if you want me to hold his feet to the flames, if for anything, I'll hold his feet to the flames for context. That's about it. But outside of context, there ain't not one thing that he's saying went wrong, other than the fact that it has to be Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade. Because for me personally, I've already said, that I don't think he could beat Dimitri Bivol. And that's a fighter that I would like to see him fight. Not a 37-year-old Kovalev, not a freaking Callum Smith coming off a fucking 5 weeks of training after he just lost to a guy that ain't even 6 feet tall and John Ryder, walked him down, bullied him, and beat him up. I wouldn't want to see him fight no Yvonne Yildirim. They sneaking in WBC titles on the back of the Callum Smith joint where I don't even know what the shit happened so fast. They throwing that shit up in there. Yvonne Yildirim gets up in the fucking ring. Man, I'm glad I didn't watch that fight on Fight Night, because once I witnessed what happened, it goes back to the point to where you can call a fighter good, but when it comes down to his greatness, you're going to have to look back at all of the shit, all of the 155 campaigns and all of the catchweights and all of that shit. You're going to have to look at all of that shit and ask yourself, is Canelo an all-time great fighter? Did he really present himself to take all of the challenges? Because at the end of the day, when it comes to that certain particular style that happens to be tricky for Canelo, that's not one of the places that he runs back to. That's what I'm saying. That's when it comes down to me. It don't have nothing to do with Jermall Charlo, because I feel like he washes Jermall Charlo. I told y'all that. But when it's centered around the conversation and what I took from it, this is what I'm taking from it. Fuck what everybody else feel. Fuck all of the racial bullshit and all of that. Because at the end of the day, I feel like Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez play it safe when it comes to a particular certain type of style. And I've told everybody this. Ray Charles can see the shit. Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez have an amazing name in boxing. But if you put it amongst that style, I'm just saying, what is it though? It's questionable. You got to scratch your head and ask yourself. And I'm sorry, but James Kirkland, 40-year-old Sugar Shane Mosley, Danny Jacobs, niggas like that don't fit that mold when it come to that style. And y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't have to take the conversation and make it tribal, because once again, I've already stipulated that one of the people I want to see him fight is Dimitri Bivol. Because if you can go up to 175 pounds and fight a Sergey Kovalev, you can fight him too. He was willing to come down to 168 and fight you. Now, it always goes back to, oh, well, that's not in this person's plans right now. Everybody knows what he's trying to accomplish and what he's trying to do. Man, that man done fluctuated and done went between more weights than any other fucking fighter I know. And then if you want to talk about activity and professional careers, and when you're comparing it to other young fighters and what he's done compared to what they've done, I mean, the guy's only been professional since he's been, what, 15, 16 years old? I mean, shit, he fought Floyd Mayweather back in 2014. It is a little different. So if you're going to speak on it all, I mean, just lay it out there. Lay it out there. In context. It's not that anybody has a problem with Canelo Alvarez. It's not that anybody hates on Canelo Alvarez, but there is an audience. And you don't got to think it's motherfucker. And it ain't powder puff. It ain't fluff. It ain't niggas who showing no favoritism. Yeah, it's a true audience out there that truly believes, that truly sees that, man, when it comes to your boy, there's a certain level of avoidance when it comes to, man, look, this is our cash cow. We've seen it once with Floyd. It was bad. We've seen it with motherfucking Laura. It didn't look great. We can't keep putting our cash cow in that position, because then if we can visualize it and start setting into people's minds, then we're going to have to start to ask. It's going to have to be a question that's asked. Ain't nobody trying to remove themselves from the money. Let's get that clear. And I repeat, the nigga's not a bad fighter. But y'all can't tell me, nobody in their right fucking mind can tell me that when it comes to fucking boxing, that Canelo rushes to get into fights with that particular style. And I know niggas is going to try to say Billy Joe and Caleb Plant, but give me a fucking break, man. Everybody knows just as well as I know this whole campaign at 168, regardless of whether who put themselves in and took themselves out, because I'm not pointing my fingers at any particular person here. I'm just saying, regardless, however you look at it, you already know that was some winnable shit. You or any other individual that is listening in, anybody that is fucking going to pay attention to those two fights that are coming up, we know for sure Billy Joe Saunders is done, but we know that Caleb Plant, they're supposedly working on it. You never know with the PBC. That's beyond this whole conversation. But I'm just saying, when it comes down to that and you go and watch it, your first thought is going to be Canelo is going to win that fight. If it comes down to betting on it, you're going to say Canelo is going to win that fight. You ain't going to put your money in no other direction. So all I'm saying is for the top pound for pound fighter in the world, for the fighter that's believed to be above everybody in the world, I'm just saying, I got to see him in the ring with better opposition. And if nobody around him is good enough, then I would like to see him necessarily challenge himself. It don't have to be Demetrius Andrade or Jamal Charlo, because once again, like I said, he knocks Jamal out. I've never believed that. I believe Demetrius gives him a lot more problems based off of the style. Demetrius does a lot of things that Jamal doesn't do. Beyond highlighting two names that Terrence Crawford mentioned, because that doesn't have anything to do with what I believe that I'm taking from what Terrence Crawford said in context. Because as I've stated before on Reaper Gang Radio 2 weeks ago, the person I would love to see him fight is Bivol once again. So when it comes back to looking at this dude and what he's doing and what he's done, and then you look at his one true test that he went through with Triple G, you can't even kick your feet up as a Canelo fan and say he passed that shit with flying colors. Did he? Did he? But wait. Let me guess. Motherfuckers is going to say Triple G had the option of taking that fight again, but he chose not to. At 37 years old, when we already know this fight, that fight should have happened way before it even originally happened. Niggas getting middleweight. Like, man, come on, man. Y'all know the 155 shit, man. So if I'm unpacking it using sound wisdom instead of just running head first to want to be one of these little cheerleading ass YouTube channels like a lot of these niggas are, if I'm going to unpack it using just a sound hypothesis and kick it to y'all the best way I could kick it, that's the way I see it. Because that's what it is for me. Once again, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got them. So I ain't going to sit here and shove y'all no shit. I ain't going to kick y'all no fugazi shit. I ain't never told y'all anything contrary to what I believe. And I ain't trying to walk beside you and hold your hand. Because once again, I said, if niggas want boxing to win, it has to be based off the integrity of the sport, not showing favoritism for a fighter. Because niggas is going to bodyguard this conversation in the ways that they doing already, in the ways that I'm hearing. Based on what? Based on your love for a motherfucker. Instead of looking at that shit and being like, you know what? Maybe motherfuckers do necessarily got a point. But I can't defend him in his context and the way he put it out there. But who's to say how much time he had or whatever the case may be? But I'm just saying, bro, don't make this shit a black or white thing. Don't make it a black or white thing. Make it a styles thing. Base it around the style. Because that's where I see Canelo's greatness. That's why I see the deficiencies in Canelo's greatness. Style deficient. Operates well within the realms of what he does great. Learned a lot from getting his ass whooped. Carried him thus far to where y'all motherfuckers can love him and appreciate him for the science that he has right now. I'm just saying. Got to look at it for what it is. Don't take more from this shit than what it has to be, because a lot of motherfuckers is going to kick y'all some extra shit, bro, and they just want to see you hate a motherfucker because they love another motherfucker more, man. And it ain't even about that. Let the activity, look, the activity speaks for itself. We always give Canelo credit for his activity. We give Blood credit for his activity for his dog. We give both of them their credit for their dog. But at the end of the day, we got to base it on the activity and the people that they was in the ring with. So I'm just looking at it based on the style. I've always, once again, that's just my only problem with him. And I just want to see him do more of that. Challenge himself. Not these niggas, man, we just going snooze fest button, snooze fest button, snooze fest button. Not these dudes that just up, man, it pisses you off, man, because you know he that good. Like it's not this whole shit that we just trying to make up out of thin air, like niggas is trying to do with Bud Crawford career based on him to come into 147, and niggas is really manhandling the fuck out of Errol Spence's penis, sucking that shit off and masturbating it at the same time, creating these illusions. It ain't that. This is like, yo, it's a body of work here. Just like Terrence Crawford has a body of work, not inside of 147. I'm just saying, we got to look at shit from a balanced perspective at all times. I'm tired of niggas. I'm tired of these boxing fans, and I'm tired of overnight boxing fans with all of their overly emotional favoritism for one particular fighter. I don't give a fuck if it's Terrence Crawford. I don't care if it's Canelo. I got respect for both of them, for real, for real. But at the end of the day, I don't try to create arguments and situations in boxing to create narratives that ain't even there. Like when you know certain politics are in boxing, you got niggas that constantly want to try to create fucking narratives between two fighters when you know there's no way possible that you're ever going to see that shit happening unless you just wipe your mind clear of thinking about it and just letting that shit falling into your lap. And then you could eventually talk about it because it became a reality. Because you know there's no way in seven hells with the politics certain shit is going to happen. Or we will sit there and we will watch factual shit take place and niggas will still create another fucking narrative because of favoritism. Fuck that. Integrity for the sport, man. Because until y'all do that, yo, and why the fuck do people take the time to try to take the most poisonous shit out of every fucking soundbite? Instead of putting something positive behind it. Everything I see is, yo, shut the fuck up this, yo, motherfuckers need to do this, whoop, 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 whoop. Whatever the narrative may be. Instead of trying to figure out, man, whatever, man. Everything that I've seen from this whole thing, I've watched a whole lot of people respond like some goofballs. And that's what bothers the most of me. That's what bothers me the most. Because if you put me in either one of those individual shoes, I know for a fact that they got respect for one another. No question. No question. But, and I know there ain't no motherfucking hate there. But at the end of the day, I just think that y'all motherfuckers, or not saying necessarily y'all, but certain people, you want to see motherfuckers the way you want to see them. You expect a person to walk or talk like this. You expect him to behave like this. So this shit don't give you no shock value today. I truly believe that motherfuckers wake up every motherfucking day when it come to this boxing shit, and they want they fighters. They want people to talk about their fighters the way they want them to talk about them, instead of in regards to what they feel is the truth of them, because you want to hear them talked about in a positive light all day. You want to hear them ego stroke for your fucking particular viewership all day. Well, if you want that, go to a motherfucker who feel like that, who is just structured that way, because the truth ain't meant to motherfucking comfort you, bro. It's not. All this shocking expectation of what another man expect and what another man in opinion is, come the fuck up off of it. Because who the fuck are you? If that's how a motherfucker feel, and that's how a motherfucker feel, he should be able to stand on that. You're fucking quite. You, as the consumer, as the fucking fan, instead of losing your fucking mind from hearing a news clip, what you should be trying to do is be trying to figure out, why didn't the journalist, instead of taking whatever was just said, why didn't you ask what's behind that? Why don't you figure out what's behind that? Instead of running like a bunch of bitches to the internet to argue about how you feel. He think it is. It's the problem with y'all weird motherfuckers. It's the problem with boxing. Niggas like, yo, you hanging on the more goofy shit than, like, yo, if y'all put this type of energy into motherfucking wanting to see the motherfuckers who really need to be fighting fight, I swear to God, you would gain traction. On my life, you would gain traction. But if you want to focus and visualize all this weird shit and fucking put purple elephant, pink unicorn jumping over the moon type motherfuckers, if y'all want to do that type of weird shit, oversaturated with the goofy shit, by all means, get ready for the fucking circus, because the clown shit gonna continue. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. JD, salute JD. He said, shout out to feelings. Word wrong. We'll shut up when they get on their job. That's a motherfucking fact. Because at the end of the day, I'm just saying, you should want to get on your talk, that you should want to talk that shit. But I'm just saying, the Ronald Finkleys of the world, the boxing Jedis of the world, the JD's boxings of the world, the Nathan Kerrs of the world, y'all motherfuckers like, yo, the actual facts of the world, the Martin Machines, the Samuel Shaw, like, yo, it's a lot of niggas, man. Y'all tend to think differently, believe differently. Can't forget the Queens, the Arlen Constables, the Lisa Bales of the world. The Rachel, I ain't gonna butcher your last name of the world. Last name of the world. Y'all tend to have a sound state of mind. You wouldn't be here if you would. You couldn't stomach it because you wouldn't like what I'm saying right now. Because we ain't gonna go on a fuck this one campaign or fuck that one, because I don't dislike Canelo and I don't dislike Terrence Crawford. I respect both of them for what they bring to boxing, because and in most situations where you see if you necessarily see individuals saying line them up, them motherfuckers is going to line it up. All I'm saying is, I want, just like people want the expectations, and let me go here too, just like the expectations of what the wants, what people want out of Bud Crawford at 147, and actually what I believe, and I'm pretty sure most of you believe, he wants to give you at 147. I mean, shit. That's probably the same shit that motherfuckers won out of Canelo at 168 or 175. Why not? Or fuck it, 160. Is there anything wrong with that? Because I do believe it's no different. Motherfucker, so if you sounding it off and you kicking it the right way, I applaud you. I commend you. But for all of these motherfuckers who just like, yo, it's a lot of toxic shit. And I'm not basing this off of anybody, but if anybody takes it how anybody takes it, y'all already know how we conduct ourselves in declarations of war over on Reaper Gang Radio. We are fully with the shits. Small disclaimer, if anybody didn't know. Not geared at anybody specifically. All I'm saying is like, when I look up and I take time to like look at what everybody's saying about it and see what's going on about it, man, it ain't the right way, man. It's not the right way. A couple people said a couple things that I like. But for the most part, I think that, yo, this whole shit is like, the negativity and all of the energy for the negative is where it is starting to, it is completely outweighing the type of energy and the type of push that should be in the direction of motherfuckers entering the ring. Because you don't see how it works out. You don't see how whatever side, who is it holding up their end in whatever particular match you want to see, if it's pertaining to any fighter, that particular narrative, you don't see how that benefits the motherfuckers if it just surrounds them, because that just buys a motherfucker a little bit more time to talk about bullshit like this. You feel what I'm saying? It buys you a little bit more time to focus your attention on a soundbite, on what might be quoted, when it pertains to bullshit like this, instead of the results that you, the fan, you, the consumer, you, the one who particularly fucks with these fighters, follows these fighters, and what's not the biggest fucking pool in entertainment sports right now. It's like a fucking jacuzzi when it comes to the audiences. I'm just saying. The aim got to be different. Hold on, man. To me personally, right? What I want motherfuckers to do, man, just like for real, like if I don't know, because I can't even tell motherfuckers to do that. Because I like, look, I don't have all of the answers, bro. I don't. And I feel like, yo, it's like, say you backed up against a fucking wall and you swinging a fucking sword, but you got 1,000 fucking swordsmen on the other side of you weighing down on you. You might have a couple of other motherfuckers trying to fight that shit with you, man. But at the end of the day, like, look, bro, I don't think that necessarily like the focus is where the focus need to be for real. Yo, you should focus. You should want to put your attention on where the problem is. Your value is fucked up, my nigga. Your value is fucked up. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about your value? I'm gonna tell you how I feel about your value. It's some shit. It's some shit. And what you focusing on? Stupid. What are you focusing on? It's a problem, man. Like niggas are jumping any opportunity to want to focus on that racist shit.
What's up, Two Hands? Happy
What's
Friday.
up, brother?
Salute, my brother. Salute, my
Happy
brother.
TGI to you too, my guy. What's goody?
Just chilling, brother. I agree with everything you're saying, man. Listen, Bud wasn't lying because he's basically saying what we've been saying, just like they've been saying what Mayweather was saying when Mayweather was on top. Remember, oh, he hasn't fought no young black fighters. Now, where was all that energy back then? Remember? So what did Floyd do on the way out? He fought a semi-young fucking Alberto, and everybody was okay with it. So now that Bud Crawford, even though we all know exactly why Bud Crawford ain't getting no fights, and come on, everybody agreed with it, right? Even Canelo strappers were oh yeah, everybody's ducking Bud Crawford, yeah, right. And now all of a sudden, because Bud said, well, he got to fight some, some elusive young black guys. You know what I'm saying? There's some out there, the Charlos. There's all he was doing was speaking. So let me guess now, a professional fighter can't speak within the realms of his profession now. He can't give his opinions now. He can't give the same opinions that most fight fans out here are giving and actually agree on and feel that Canelo Alvarez is basically semi gimmicked in a way because we can't measure this motherfucker. I mean, who actually has a 155 ghost weight division? That's one. Two, who lowers computer levels on a test coming from a fucking testing agency, on top of other questionable losses that he's had with other fighters, and all this ducking GGG at the time and giving up his title. I mean, he's done things where we can say, look, Canelo's not great. He's getting there, and just because he's had a longevity so far of fights, which is activity, doesn't actually mean that he's fought greatness or he's fighting like he's great. Because got to see this. You have Canelo. If you really look at him, how can we measure him? In what weight class? Where does he stay stationary where we can actually say, okay, we tag him as great? Because there's not one time where we can actually say, okay, there's a fighter that keeps moving up and moving up and moving up and moving up, but yet he's not fighting those that are important within those divisions. And if he is, he's taking them way after the fact. So what is it that you Canelo fans that get your Twinkie swollen? What's the problem when we speak like boxing pundits, and fans and journalists and videographers, and we just sit down and we just pointing out the obvious? I know what it is. It's because it's your fighter. That's why. No doubt. Yeah.
And everything you saying, I feel you 1000%. And it makes me go here. It makes me segue here. See, the problem is there's such a favoritism and there's this tribalism in the sport. And once again, you like who you like, but all of that one statement, because we already know how motherfucking that whole conversation is when it comes to black fighters, Mexican fighters, white fighters, any fucking fighter in the world of boxing. We know how it goes, but just when you go ahead and add that connotation onto it, you already know what it's going to be. And at the end, and at the end of the day, people are going to choose to focus their attention on now hating Bud, and it's going to be just more, it's just going to be more driven narrative to focus on more bullshit instead of focusing on what the analysis really is. Like I said, contextually speaking, I feel like, he should have kicked it a different way. But I know how ignorant motherfuckers are. I know what I deal with every day on YouTube. So I know the type of spin individuals are already putting on it. And I know how people are coming at it. And that's what and that's what the sport don't need for real. Because he wasn't attacking Canelo like Canelo is scared of African American fighters. That wasn't the attack.
You know what, man? What's up, Two Hands? What's up, Jedi? You know what? Everybody in this era of boxing want their guy, no matter who their guy is, they want their guy to be great, to be considered great. Their guy, their fighter is the great guy, right? And here's the problem, in my opinion. Here's one of the problems. It's what they're measuring it against. Because when they start talking about, like, I don't care if it's Joshua, Wilder, Spence, Crawford, whoever. They start talking about,
Anybody.
right, anybody. when they start talking about their guy being great, they start talking about the Hagler, the Ali's, the greats of the past. Here's the facts, and I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Outside of guys like Chocolatito, Pacquiao, Estrada, ain't none of these motherfuckers great. None of them. If you comparing them to those guys, none of them great. They might be good fighters. That might be true. They might have skills and all of that, but ain't none of them great. Canelo, and I know I'll get heat for that. Canelo ain't great compared to them. Spence ain't great. Wilder, Crawford. Look at these guys' resumes and who they fought compared to those guys, to the four kings. Crawford and Spence and Canelo, they not comparable to Ray and Hagler and Hearns and them. I mean, shit, none of them. But everybody in this era wants their guy to be that great guy. So then you get these silly arguments where he's not great. Oh, he's done this. Ain't none of these motherfuckers did nothing when you measure them up to the guys we're talking about. My guy right here, he was fucking great. Pernell Whitaker. None of these motherfuckers can measure up, fam. None of them.
See, for me, it all goes back to, and I'll, make sure that I use complete unbiased in the sense where I'll make sure I touch on this aspect as well. Well, now I can understand it's a different day and age, and I can understand a lot of the corruption earlier in boxing, and fighters are more at the helm of taking their career by the reins and being able to do the things that they need to do and get how they're necessarily getting paid instead of becoming vegetables and not being able to think straight, talk straight, or even be in any way cognitively sound to do anything responsible or fun or loving with their families. So I could get that.
Right.
So thinking on that aspect, in that regard, I know times do change and certain things do change. But when it comes to the aspect of being a fighter and your position in this game and the things that you are supposed to accomplish, that's where it becomes, intolerable for me. And when you're falling short in your profession, in a sense, because if I'm looking at it in the whole totality, if we're because we got to look at the greats before us to compare, the present, warriors that we have now. If I'm looking at that, I'm looking at individuals in their heyday who didn't get to pick and choose a fighting style, who didn't get to shy away from certain fighting styles. Fucking Marvin Hagler had to go years fighting number one contenders. He didn't get to pick a fighting style. So at the end of the day, for me, that's where I'm just like, it is completely unacceptable. And I understand it because that's, once again, going back to the root of my problem with this individual is the styles. I don't feel like at any point in your profession should you avoid styles, because you can't completely call an individual great if they're not willing to take on all comers or all aspects of greatness in those styles that come their way. So that's the biggest issue for me, man.
Yeah, I feel you, man. And what gets me are fans. Fans, they get mad as shit. They just be like, "Oh, Jedi full of shit. Oh, other niggas is full of shit." Why? Because we speaking on your fighter now. But yeah, it's okay for you to speak on other fighters. It's the bias that these guys have. Just like D said, you know what I'm saying? Adding on to what he said, that they just want their fighters to be on top, and this is where they get all in. And that's exactly what we understand with today's fan base. The fighters, they're very, how should I say, responsible for their shit too, because they just continue to just placate to it and just let these fans, instead of correcting them like our fighters used to do, the last fighter I heard correct somebody was AJ. When they said, "Oh, well, now you're a world champion and you can be put up there with one of the greats," and he said, no. I'm just a prospect who happens to just become a champion now. I have a lot of work to do. That was the most humblest thing I've heard in this era so far. And when when they said that he was better than Marvin Hagler, and he stopped them right in his tracks and said, no, sorry, no, he is great. He is king. I have, much catching up to do. Like, those guys, the Chocolatitos, GGGs, those guys, these are the guys that we've been talking about, the handfuls that are actually legacy fighters. The rest of these guys are just money chasers. They just want to be out there, looking like a diamond all in the light. That's all this is all about, man, in this era. Yeah, it's a different age or era. Social media is bigger. But at the same time, why is it that we don't know these fighters worldwide, but we know of the fighters of our era without having that social media? You know why? Because it was all about the work ethic. It's the work ethic that put these greats to where they are. And it wasn't no social media. Social media is just a tool. This is just a tool. Why is it that Mike Tyson is more known than any other heavyweight in this era having the social media, having help? Exactly. So how full of shit am I now for speaking the truth? How full of shit is Reaper? How full of shit is motherfucking D right now? We're not full of shit.
The crazy thing about like the social media movement and everything, and in fighters in their age, whether you talking young or old, look at what Virgil Ortiz has done in the grand scheme of, you know, the type of opponents he's taken. These only 17 fights in, and how the momentum surrounds him right now in this 17 fight compared to other fighters who kind of pussyfooted it and taking way lower level oppositions than him, not fighting, you know, the Sammy Vargas is in your 16th fight, not fighting the Mauricio Herrera's in your 14th or 15th fight. You know what I mean? Like, come on now, like the Maurice Hooker's in your 17th fight. Come on now. And the correct and the motherfucking people just waiting for him in the capacity that was at, maxed out. They crowding around the tunnel, they giving you gifts and shit like that. So imagine what it'll be on his continued journey if he continues fighting fighters up of that caliber, because it'll be consistently good fight after good fight. Because if you take one good fighter, match him up with another good fighter, you get great fights. But speaking in the realm of just the context of just the whole situation, it's just like, that's what we want of Canelo. You can't gauge it, and like I said, I know what I took from it, and I ain't never going to be able to give y'all the fucking grades you want me to give fucking Canelo until he does certain things. And I didn't need, and it doesn't have to be Demetrius Andre or Jamal Charlo, because once again, that has never been my argument. Consistently speaking, that has never been my argument. But it's got to be somebody, and it just shows that when it was those individuals, he was in trouble. He lost. The other fight, there was a crazy card of 117 to fucking 111 in a fight where I feel like it was a 7-5. It should have been a 7-5. You know, so going back to that, I haven't seen it since then. So what I'm saying is, and probably what Bud is saying, but I can't speak for him, is when we going to see it again?
That's true. That's true. I wish I had that fucking answer though. You know, I just don't see how where they find the comfortable space to you know, want to speak on other fighters, but they don't speak on themselves. I don't understand that. Then at the same time, everybody went into certain uploaders went into a whole bashing fucking fiasco on Bud now and shit. Like, oh, you know, Bud should worry about himself. But first of all, we all know what this era has to offer, right? We all know that PBC made a streak because of this kid, right? So now all of a sudden, that shit's out the window. What you agreed to, what everybody was speaking on, now it's fucking ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost, I feel you, because it is impossible to deny that they've erased the WBO belt that he held at the time where they threw up the 147, his, you know what I'm saying, his other, you know, classmen, when they threw the other title holders up there, and they didn't put him up there. We can't deny that when Vasily Lomachenko held the title, they made him 13 and fucking 0 or whatever on the fucking ESPN rankings when they put him in the pound for pounds above Bud Crawford. So what I'm saying is, we can't deny that there is a certain level of a fucking identity, that there's a certain level of a narrative push that we can truly identify with, because we physically seen it with our own eyes. So you can make shit a certain way, and then just like these situations, they can be made a certain way. I'm not going to let up off the gas when I say Eddie Reynoso and Canelo fight within their comfort zone, because they do. Now, is that saying that they've never been outside of it? Absolutely, they have. But I can't keep redundantly saying that. That's for the playback gang. Shout out to y'all. But that's what he do. It's time to come upside of that motherfucker.
Yeah. That's a fact, bro. I mean, God, that's the thing, bro. If somebody, this is the problem. This is the problem right here. If somebody make a statement like the statement you just made, right? This the first thing one of the Canelo like fanboys or groupies gonna do. Well, you didn't say that when Jamal Charlo. Well, you didn't say that when Demetrius Andre. What does that have to do with what Two Hands just said? What Two Hands just said? He just made a point. Why you bringing up Charlo? That's what this community is about, fam. Like a man will make a statement like that. It's a valid statement. Nothing to get
The
mad
art of the
about.
poor
Nothing to
camel.
argue. Nothing to argue about. Nothing. It's a valid statement. Why you coming with? Oh, with Charlo, you didn't say that when Charlo. Come on, bro. It's not about Charlo. I just made a statement about Canelo. Let's talk about that statement I made about Canelo. Let's just talk about Canelo. Fans can't do that. They can't do that.
And you know, and
Right.
once again, that's why, you know, like when we were on the show together the other day, like when we were on Reaper Gang Radio today, and I said, or it was the Sunday service, I said,
Sunday, yeah.
yo, we gotta be a fan of the integrity of the sport, because as long as you're a fan of the integrity of the sport and honoring the sport, you'll never get let down. But when it
Mm.
comes to a conversation and being favorites of fighters, it comes to a point to where, you know, there is no level of critique when it comes to you, because you are so much of a fan that anything that is said, an honest critique of that fighter, you're going to look at it as hate. You're going to look at it as coming from a place to where all you're trying to do is hate on that character. So you're going to go in defense mode and you're going to jump out there with a comparison of another individual. But you probably never looked at my videos, because if you go back and see, I've never been a fan of Jamal Charlo, and I've always given fucking Demetrius Andre, you know, proper criticism where it needs to be laid. So at the end of the day, if it always is geared and centered around integrity and honor of the sport, then it could progress positively in the right direction. Because I don't care about showing favoritism to no fighter. I'm going to lay critique where it needs to be laid. So as long as that's done, you can't never get crossed up, because there's too many dudes. And this is the sport of boxing, what I understand. I'm talking about machismo. Too many dudes who are emotionally invested. I'm talking about Tampax, Kotex, fucking advertisers and representatives in the sport of boxing. And that comes all to the energy and the personifications of their fandom. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's fucking gross. It is what it is, though, man. I'm just glad that I'm not them. You know what I mean? Aren't you glad you're not them? Right? Aren't you glad you don't think like them? It's all good, man. You know,
No, I
like
don't
I
think
said,
like no fucking body. Fuck that.
that's what I'm saying. Like shit. I'm happy I can't be put under that light. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
know, it's all the time that we're always pointing the finger at these guys, but they want to be pointing fingers at us all the time because we're always, you know, pulling shit out. All right, look, the problem is somebody got to pull the shit out, and obviously, you know, like Two Hands said, the machismo, instead of being machismo and shit and being macho, why don't you just fucking, you know what I mean? Just be a man and just you know take the accountability and say to yourself, I'm a fucked up irresponsible fight fan, bro, and I really got to start calling shit out because I mean, think about it, bro. How stupid do you sound talking about the next fucking fighter, but yet your fighter is doing like worse than what the fuck your fighter is doing, and you're just saying this out of pure hate. It's just like all these Wilder fans. They were talking mad shit about AJ, but in reality, in their heart and their soul, bro, yo, in their soul, they wish that Wilder was fighting like AJ. That's really what it
Of
is.
course they do. Of
You know what I
course, that's
mean?
why they mad because that's why they mad now. That's why a lot of this. I don't even want to go into that, bro. I want to stay on this whole shit we talk about now, but because I was getting ready to go on a rant about the AJ shit, but I want to say
No, no,
this.
no. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. No, real quick, just with the AJ shit, I'm just saying this. You're right about that because a lot of the AJ hate is from just Wilder fans. They hope it,
Yeah,
even though Tyson Fury beat Wilder, they know, you know, the glove gate and all of that. They still hope that Fury beats AJ, and I'll tell you why. Because then they could say, well, he beat AJ too. AJ wasn't all of that. That's how
yeah,
much hate and disdain they have for that
yep.
dude, fam. They don't even care about the cheating shit. They're willing to suck Fury's balls for the cheating shit and everything just so that they can say, well, AJ wasn't all that too. The UK thought their heavyweight was this too. That's how much hate and disdain it is. It's ridiculous, fam. This shit's ridiculous.
It is.
And see, that goes back to, exactly what I was just saying, like right before y'all just said that. It goes back to, position your focus to the integrity of, the succession of boxing's greatness instead of putting it around your favoritism of a certain fighter's greatness, and then you can have a real conversation. Then you could do away with a lot less, COVID kind of energy in the fucking boxing community. Because all of these motherfuckers is toxic with their thought process.
COVID energy.
Yeah.
That perfectly sums it up. The COVID energy.
You know what I mean? Like that COVID fandom.
Yeah,
that boxing just.
Oh my gosh, bro!
And look, because look at the psychosis. Look at the psychosis that it has. It has neighbors saying "fuck neighbor." You know what I mean? And motherfuckers arguing with each other about singular issues that are fucking so minute to what the bigger picture is. It's like y'all motherfuckers be stuck on the fucking frame, just completely ignoring the big picture for the entirety of whatever's going on. That is the biggest problem. Yo, you program the fucking, you program to show so much love and suck the ass of another individual, but you completely forgetting about the integrity of the sport because you stuck on this guy. You know that this motherfucker is going to end up, forever, evaporated in the sands of time. And it's going to be the things that he did during his career is going to propel your argument, your conversation, or going to be able to go back, or your nostalgic love for how that motherfucker was when he was in the, in the prime of his craft. You're not going to be able to do that if he does absolutely nothing. Because when your ass is talking about this nigga 20 or 30 years from now and he accomplished absolute shit, you're going to see how much of a joke he was then, and it's going to hurt you to realize how much of a joke he is now.
Yep.
So,
hey, I'm going to tell you something too. Easy way, one of the easiest way is just prepare yourself mentally to be able to give heat to everybody. If it go against boxing, if you prepare yourself mentally to be able to fucking flame any of these guys, if it go against boxing, then you'll have an easier road. Cause that's what make it easier for me. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. Somebody gonna always have something to say about you because you got community bases, fan bases, these idiots we talking about now. So it's always gonna be somebody to say shit about you, no matter who you talk about. Just be willing to talk about all of them. Whether you like the guy or not. Teofimo, go look at my channel. Flame videos on the kid. Canelo, flame videos on Canelo. Spence, flame videos. Jamel, flame videos. Tyson Fury, flame videos. I'm willing to flame them all. You can't just be willing to flame some of them, bro.
Hold that thought for 1 second, D. I'm glad you took it there, not to cut you off. I challenge any motherfucker who play this shit back or listen to it. Go to all your fucking favorite fighters' fucking channels. Go to all your favorite fighting channels and shit like that, and look at who critiquing niggas on both sides.
Yeah,
critiquing them all for real. Any fucking community, any fighter you appreciate like that, is he critiquing them both?
Yep.
Is he critiquing them all on both sides of it, or is it all praise? And then ask yourself, is some shit going on here,
bro? You will
find real fishy shit.
You will find some one-sided shit on pretty much most channels. Like when you look at my channel, right? Presumably, like a lot of people come to my channel and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he all about Fury and Teofimo Lopez." But I got too many videos. It's not like they're gonna surface through over 1,000 fucking videos and see that, oh no, he done gave him flame. Oh no, he done gave him flame. So presumably you'll go to the channel and be like, oh, they this way, they're that way. You gotta stick there. You gotta stick with that channel for a minute and see how they move. And other than that, you can't really tell because you'll go to all of these channels and it'll appear to you that they're one on one side or the other. But unless you stick around and listen to what they gotta say, for a good time frame, you're not really gonna. it's hard, bro. It's like you gotta sift through a lot, like the needle in the haystack sort of thing. You gotta sift through a lot of channels, and you gotta stick around because I've gone to channels and it sound good in the beginning, and then you stick around for a couple of months and be like, man, he on some bullshit too. And then you move to the
Right.
next one and you stick around for a couple of months and you're like, man, he on some bullshit too.
That's why I try to challenge people. That's why for me, it was like, I came in this shit talking, there wasn't no StreamYard when I started this shit. That shit was, that shit popped off probably like 6 months or 8 months after or whatever. Maybe something like that. But it wasn't no this wasn't StreamYard when I started. That I remember. It wasn't no StreamYard going on. Like, hey, that shit just kicked off. It was like a new thing. This shit is still new. They just brought it to mobile like fucking like 6 months ago. You know what I mean?
It came about when Google Hangouts stopped. That's when StreamYard came on, when Google
Right.
Hangouts cut
Right.
out.
So
Exactly.
for me and my love and talking for the sport, it always came from projecting my thought process straight down the middle, talking about it all. It started off me talking about matchups, matches, and matches to come. Then I
Yep.
wanted to dive into editing because I wanted to make the experience different. So I started editing shit like that. But it was always centered around the conversation, man. Dudes, you got dudes that's just going, dudes that'll switch up because more importantly, not everybody is in it for everybody ain't in it for the same shit. You got
Right.
some dudes that's gonna gear they shit just like the Deontay Wilder shit. That's why I got from editing so many videos. I felt like I was developing an audience that only came there for that particular reason. And you have individuals that feed off of that because they know the viewership is strong that way, whatever the case may be. And once again, that goes back to that toxic fucking fandom, that selfish shit, and whatever you trying to be in the mix of riding the coattails of whoever, but that shit ain't gonna last. The only thing that's gonna last is the competition. You can kill it or you can make it better. But at the end of the day, it's how you writing the story around it. You know what I'm saying? And how are you identifying with the people that are competing? Because if I'm looking at if we really just all went through our fucking careers and we just said nothing but good things about Canelo, how does he get better? Because then what is his career really turned? Then he really got you by the balls. He really doing whatever he want to do.
Well,
If same thing with Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, any of them.
exactly. This is why I said. Remember last time on last, I think it was the last live we did on Two Hands. I was saying that we may sound like haters to y'all, but we're better fans to y'all that.
Jedi, we lost you.
Oh, okay. I thought that was me at first.
Nah. I'm about fired up. We lost my boy.
Yeah, but nah, bro. Look, man, it's just like this. It's just like this, bro. I think the search for a fan base or channels, the search for that is like finding Waldo. Where the fuck is Waldo, fam? We're gonna be
That
searching for
nigga's
that shit.
everywhere. Fucking
You know what I
everywhere.
mean? It's like, where is he? But that's just what I'm saying, bro. It's like, look, man. Again, and no, integrity is a motherfucker in this community because people will go so hard at a guy, and just like I said, you got to be willing to flame everybody. You know what else a problem is? Two hands is that you also got to be willing to praise everybody, and people not willing to do that as well. Because then that's when you get he double standard, he two-faced it, this that. Like the whole, I'll give you an example with me is the Bill Haney situation where I was giving Bill Haney and Devin Haney some shit of heat for a long time because I'm Teofimo, and then motherfuckers start getting sideways on the Haney. Like, hold on, man. Y'all can't just dump on him. So then I start giving him praise for the fight. He get ready to fight Linares or Javier Fortuna. And then people say, oh, you kissing Bill Haney's ass now. Nah, you got to be willing to praise a guy where he deserves the
He did
praise. You
what he
can't
said he was
just
gonna do.
bash him. Right. You can't just bash him. Then when he deserved the praise, you don't say nothing about it. You got to be able to do it both ways. So when I started giving Devin Haney praise, oh, now I'm double standing. Now I'm backtracking. No, the dude deserves praise now because he's doing whatever. All y'all stupid motherfuckers cry for him to fight somebody valid. Now he's getting ready to fight somebody valid, and I'm supposed to keep dumping on him? That don't make sense. This is what
Man,
we wanted him to do. Now he get ready to do it, and I'm supposed to keep dumping on him? Come on, bro.
facts. No 2 days are like a snowflake, man. No
Word
two
up, yo.
days. No 2 days are alike. So you can't expect the same conversation to happen every day. Like you think this motherfucker's gonna do something that pleases you every day. You think every fight that he's gonna begin, he's not gonna look like he has some chinks in his armor. So once again, you know the honesty is going to differentiate. It might be some honesty you like, and it might be some honesty that you dislike. But at the end of the day, if you maintain your focus where it needs to be, outside of being a fucking COVID fan, then motherfucking you will be good. You'll be good.
Hey man, that shit is just too hilarious to me, bro, because of everything that we understand behind that, fam. Like, if everybody understood what we understand behind that, then they would get the humor like full fledged, bro. Every time you say that shit, it's just so funny, bro. COVID, fam.
Yeah, it's just like, cause like, man, the nature. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like, yo, it's like people. It's like, yo, and I don't know what it is. We was talking about this shit off camera. This is like how I feel about niggas in StreamYard. It's like I feel like when these dudes get up there, it's like they
Yeah,
go from being normal off the camera to getting up that bitch and going, like they going Super Saiyan or some shit on just
yeah.
straight the Super Saiyan level 3 of stupidity. You know what I mean? Like that's all it
Mhm.
is. Like they just get in there and they just go on some toxic fandom shit, just want to agree with some shit, just start ball sucking, all type of shit. And then especially when you got motherfucking the coaches or the fighters come up, niggas start ball licking and everything, knowing that motherfuckers was just talking all week about all the deficiencies and all of the bullshit that they was doing. But because they present, you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers just forget all of the tough questioning, and that shit just goes completely out the window.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
yeah,
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
is the backbone? Where is
yeah.
the
No,
integrity? All I'm
yeah,
saying is keep that shit solid.
yeah.
yeah. Don't flip flop. That's it. I mean, and just because we're like I said, I don't know if you guys were able to hear me and shit because I'm driving, but I was saying, if look, we're much better fight fans than the so-called hardcore fight fans. You know what I'm saying, that belong to these fighters that they're keeping for, because we're telling them what they're doing, what they're not doing. You guys are not. You guys are just kissing ass and just fucking letting them pass. You know, and do all that other bullshit, man. Yo, just be a real fight fan. If your man fucking up, then let him know, dude, you need to step up. Yo, had Wilder not have yet had yes men in the LDBC and LDBC was on their game, son, I'm telling you, Wilder would have been a much better person. He never would have ran with that. Oh, the costume was heavy. I got poison and everything. He placated to. Trust me. Trust me.
Hell,
Because
even before that Jedi, he never would have fell in love with this power shit because they fooled him
Yeah.
on that. He
absolutely.
would have established that fucking jab, and he would have
Right.
become a fucking boxer. So yeah, they fooled him twice. Fuck the glove gate shit. They fooled him long before that.
Agreed. Yep.
Because on it, because if you would have honestly critiqued him, he would have given you honest representation in the sport. Because there's no way Deontay Wilder would have been able to exist in this fucking fantasy land, punch drunk. I mean, just mentally drunk off of his fucking power. If
Yeah.
he would have if the media would have represented what he was doing in the proper ways, and that just
Yeah.
once again that goes back to like really, how do you want how do you want what I'm saying, the chips to stack up? Do you want them stacked up to where it favors the next several lineages of prospects that are coming down the line in the succession of the sport, or do you want to set up to where now you just what I'm saying, trying to maneuver through a whole bunch of fucking phonies that are just conditioned to what I'm saying, just try to tear down the house of cards? So I just
Perfect example, two hands. Perfect example of how you and I. What's up, Mark? What's up? You got a couple of super chats too. I'm gonna let
Oh
you
yeah. Let me
jump on them right quick.
shout out George joint real quick. Salute George, the sole survivor of the apocalypse. This motherfucker's names are great. With the super chat, he says at one time Triple G was old school minded fighter until he got old and now he's waiting for that Canelo retirement check. Plus, can't argue that he ducked Ward. I mean, you can't really argue with either one of those things, and I think that he kind of might have pushed himself out of position to get that retirement check, considering that he turned that fight down when Golden Boy in the zone was pushing for him to have that shit before the
Yeah,
contract dispute fell apart, and he opted not to take it. So
needing the
that's
tune
on.
up and shit.
Yep, that's on Triple G. And and Father Time isn't favoring him right now. So hey, once again, Triple G fucked that up, and that is and Triple G is living in that same regard as Canelo. So Triple G is an exempt. He's another prime example of like the Jaime Munguia, Demetrius Andrade
Uh-huh.
situation right now. How Eddie Hearn wants to make that fight with Triple G and Demetrius Andrade, but Golden Boy is pushing this narrative that it is a boring fight for Demetrius Andrade, and the fight is with Jaime Munguia. And like I stated on the Reaper Gang Boxing Interlude, I think the first one we did on Jaime Munguia, don't fall into the trick bag, because he knows that slick boxer style is a nightmare for Jaime Munguia. And if Demetrius Andrade fights him before he gets to him, he honestly, in my opinion, has about a 99.9% chance of not becoming a champion. Because the way fucking Jaime Munguia style is defensively, offensively, the way he fight, he don't stand a chance of beating Andre. So it's in the same regard for him, for Jaime and shit like that. And how Triple, once again, yeah,
I,
man, yeah.
I know you want to keep up with your joints, and these we be getting behind in the chat, so I'll try and help you out. You got Ronald and Mark down there too. There you
Yeah, I
go.
appreciate it, because when we be talking, I don't be looking down too much,
I
because I
be
try to
I
stay
be
in the
lost like a motherfucker
momentum.
in the chat
Yeah,
though.
I try to stay in the momentum of the conversation, because that's why they listening in. So it's like if I look down, I get sidetracked so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, salute, Ronald. Appreciate you with the super chat as always, man. Showing your support, man. He said, "Yo, Waldo is wilder." That is all facts. But it wouldn't be too hard to find this black ass. You find him in some tropical colored tights somewhere down on a pontoon boat or a four-wheeler in Alabama.
Nah,
Twerking.
Yeah, exactly.
twerking,
I
twerking.
think the only difficulty we'll be having is trying to wade through the fucking swamps and the bayous of fucking Alabama trying to find this fucking goofball. If we do it
Word
after
up.
5 o'clock in the evening, that's it.
Word. Word. Yo, two hands, man. Listen, I'm driving right now. I gotta go, man. But thank you for having me, D. God bless y'all.
Always, man.
All right,
Always.
No
all right.
doubt. All right, man.
Okay,
Yo, I'll be back on tonight, man, because I'm on suspension from YouTube. I'm out of YouTube jail, so we good.
Oh man, that's what's up, man. They letting
All
the
right.
boys out. They letting the boys up out of the YouTube penitentiary, man. Let
Word.
what I'm saying.
yeah, I
Bring
got
all the
about a
boys
week.
home.
I got about a week left, Jedi. I'll be joining.
All
That
right,
shit
kid.
crazy. How the fuck do y'all boys get in YouTube jail and I don't never even get in that shit? That is
Cause
Because
wild to me.
I do live fights. When I do those live
Oh
fights,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what be getting me.
yeah,
yeah.
and my,
That's
and
why I
my
don't do that shit.
yeah, and my shit was calling somebody a fucking a faggy, and at the same time, it was something that I reported over politics, and they didn't like it. So, you know,
Ooh, yeah,
yeah,
that'll
yeah,
Wow.
get you too. And this
yeah,
climate, yeah, that'll definitely get you too. Man,
yeah.
shout out to Mark, man. Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Appreciate you, man, with the $2 super chat, with the 2 pound Joan,
Euro.
Euro Joan.
There you go. There you go. But look, this is what I was getting ready to say. I just wanted, I know you'd be wanting to show the respect to the super chat, so I didn't want.
Absolutely. You know what I mean?
But
Without them, we nothing.
right, no doubt. So this is what I was getting ready to say. This is where like you and I are different with a lot of this, right? So like with the Wilder situation we were just talking about, me and you talked about Edgar Berlanga, right? Now we
Mm-hmm.
could be like those Wilder fans and jump on this Edgar Berlanga train, but we not doing that. We nipping that
Mm-mm.
shit in the bud early, fam. And if they would have nipped that Wilder shit in the bud early, like, okay, the knockouts are great, but come on now, let's show us some boxing. Because that's what I've
Right.
been saying about Edgar Berlanga, Afro-Rican. I got to
You don't
support
know how
Puerto
to
Rican.
define Edgar Berlanga right
I
now.
ain't going to, and I'm not gonna jump on no hype train. Oh, he Puerto Rican. Yeah, Edgar Berlanga. Man, fuck all of that. This is boxing, fam. This kid got 17 fights, 17 first round knockouts. He ain't seen the second round. We don't know where his gas tank like. We don't know what he looked like facing adversity. We don't know what his footwork is like. We don't know if he could set up shot, utilize feints. We don't know shit about this kid. I am not jumping on a hype train.
You can't. And I think that, what I'm saying, that's where it comes to like, yo, slow it down, like chill. I think that, if people would, like I said, people had that same type of interpretation of Deontay Wilder when it just comes to thinking of these fighters. It's like, yo, that there's certain levels to this shit. That's why they start fighters on that professional path where they do of, the early rounds to 12. You gotta break, you know what I'm saying? You gotta break a nigga in, man. It's a lot of different looks, it's a lot of different styles, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't know where your win is truly at when you think you're in shape. Boxing shape is completely different. So if you just looking at a dude sensationalizing off of him knocking a person out in a couple of rounds, that is not going to be the reality of what his career is, because there are some durable motherfuckers with heart, and he's going to bump into somebody when the level of opposition steps up. I think people get a little too gassed up off of what they see out of the first 10 to 15 opponents instead of looking at the first 10 to 15 opponents for what they really were at that time. You can't get gassed there unless they happen to be, you know what I'm saying, MJ on some MJ Akmadaliev shit, something like that. But
Yeah,
that's
for
a little
sure.
different.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Mark, and you probably want to catch that too, but I wanted to respond to that anyway. But Mark, I'm getting ready to send you $10 after this. I'm gonna call you after this live anyway, because I love your books, bro. Your bookies be having these bets that I can't get on my books, like, and I would love to make that bet, but I'm not able to. So I'm gonna send you $10 through PayPal. Anyway, forget about the money. I'm gonna send you some money. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you after we get off here.
Crazy thing is, man, I think motherfucking Dillian White not gonna come out there and perform the way everybody think Dillian White gonna go out there and perform. Now I'm taking in consideration because I'm using the same thought process that I had with AJ and Andy Ruiz.
Right.
Dillian White completely dominated that fight, so he definitely has the upper hand. And if I was, you know what I'm saying, betting my money, I would have to bet it on Dillian White to win based off of what I saw in the first fight. But given the time, given Alexander Povetkin, you know what I'm saying, that kind of tricky freaking style he has on the front foot and the shoulder switches, I'm just thinking that, man, with the movement, I'm like, man, if Povetkin is really dialed in, if he's had a sensational camp and he's really just dove in on the tape and really looked at it, man, who's to say that freaking Povetkin ain't gonna come out here and blast him out of space again? Because we know even under pure duress, his power still doesn't fade. And the fact is, honestly, I would say that Povetkin has to be the better boxer out of the two. And it's not like Dillian White has the most tricky style to figure out. So, you know, he
Right.
stands a stronger chance to be better. So it's like, even though I would have to put my money with Dillian White, who's to say that Dillian White's the shoe-in to win? And I was just saying this on Sunday service, I believe it was. No, I was saying on Reaper Gang Radio Monday or Tuesday. I said, yo, I'm like, there's this theory that when you get blasted out the way the way Dillian White got blasted out on the canvas, a fighter doesn't come back the same. So are we just automatically set, mentally comfortable with knowing that Dillian White is the same right now? I don't know that. I don't know. The confidence sound great, but we just don't know. He got hit. Like hit.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like Dillian White, man, like that's why this fight is so, to me, it's a repeat of the first fight. And like the first fight was 50-50, but you know, I had it 60-40. Like the first fight was 50-50, but I had it 60-40. I said, I was like, bro, I think Dillian White gonna get Povetkin. I picked White, I'm not gonna lie, you know. And
yeah, of course.
But the first fight was actually 50-50. And there was a lot of people, which I wasn't on that Povetkin has no fucking chance. No, because I had a 60-40. I was like, shit, Povetkin could win this fight, and he won. Now this fight is 50-50, and I see it as it was the first time, a 50-50 fight. You can pick whoever the fuck you want to pick, but either one of these guys can walk away with the win on this fight.
I think anybody with half a sound boxing mind had that same ideology, D. I think we all were sitting there thinking, like, because even on my channel, I said, you know, I'm picking Dillian White, but let's not sit up here and act like Alexander Povetkin can't go out there, blast him out and win, or even outbox him to him a victory and win. You know, this is definitely an even fight. I just think there were just other things to factor in. You know, even though Povetkin was active just like Dillian White was active, Dillian White was just as active with equal levels. They were both active with equal levels of opposition, but, you know, Dillian White White having, youth and power on his side and everything of that nature. It just felt like more things favored Dillian White, checked more boxes for me. But we
Yeah.
all had that same thought that it was just like, yo, it's kind of a 60-40 thing, because we all think that Dillian White is going to do what Dillian White's been doing on his whole supposed 1,000-day campaign. And we weren't shocked. That's why we weren't shocked when he got knocked out the way he did. It was
Yeah.
like, this shit could happen. Lazy fucking jab, boom, good night.
Right. That's a thing. You rocking out for a little bit? Because Mark wanted the link. If not, I just send it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on here for like 15 more minutes.
Yeah, Mark said, could you drop a link for him right quick? But yeah, bro. I agreed, bro. Agreed. Like Dillian White. Just if you look at this for reasonably, then you won't see these fights as like so far apart. Like every now and then, you're gonna get these shockers, right? Like fucking AJ
Right.
Ruiz the first time, Burchell, Valdez. You're gonna get these shockers where, like, I don't give a fuck what you say. You didn't see that coming. Like nobody seen.
At all.
I couldn't see that shit with Valdez and Burchell coming. Like I couldn't
Me
see
either.
that shit with Ruiz and AJ coming. So sometimes you're gonna get these shockers, but for the most part, you can analyze these fights and pretty much how they're gonna play out. You can do that.
Of course. And that just goes back to a lot of the conversation we were having earlier. You can just pick and kind of, visually see what's going on. And it seemed like most of the sensationalized fights, even those you really can't even call them down the middle. To be perfectly honest. But it seems like for this month, for the month of March, for the most part, truly, we've went weekend to weekend, and I've been able to say from the bottom of my heart, we've had nothing but 50-50 fucking fights. Weekend to weekend. Like if you really want to go back, look at it all, put it all in perspective, we've had 50-50 fucking fights. Good fights. Weekend to weekend, if you're thinking about the main events.
Yeah. For sure. What up, Mark?
What up, fellas? What up? What up? We've had a great month, man. We've had a great month.
Great month.
And like this weekend, like if you're just a fan of fighting in general, right? Just in general, just fights. Like this White fight is great. This White Povetkin fight, like let's be real. Anybody who goes up to you and says, "Hey, yo, I know who's gonna win," they talking shit. They talking absolute shit. Nobody has a clue. It's all guessing. It's a complete guess. Complete guess. Then even on the UFC, you got that big, massive heavyweight fight, Miocic and Ngannou, man. That's huge. Huge fight.
Man, I'm telling you, they just been giving us a lot to look forward to, and all I can say is thank you. I'm appreciative. I've been harping to the fucking moon. We've all been harping to the fucking crowds about how much of the bullshit that we can't stand. So when you get some consistency of things that you like, regardless of whether it's one promotional outfit or several, man, I'm appreciative, man, because that's all I want, man. It's some level of restored order, man.
April gonna be a good month too, man. April gonna be a good month too. Like starting on the 3rd, we've got Ahmed Aliev against Iwasa. That's a banger. It's an absolute banger. On the 10th, we've got Joe Smith Jr. He's taking on Vlasov for the vacant WBO title.
That's the first quarter of the year already down. The first quarter of the year, good. Already down.
Yep. And I think it's been the general, consensus that we all just been kind of saying, like, yo, I think 2021 is setting up to be a hell of a fucking year. All we need is execution, and we're getting execution. And at least out of one promotional outfit, we have a fucking schedule. So, man, look, man, I'm just sitting back enjoying the ride. I don't have one reason to be upset. It's almost so much good shit going on. I kind of feel offended, like when the bullshit, the redundant arguments that we always have kind of come up, because I'm like kind of off that shit because there's just so much good shit going on.
Fantastic. Yeah, Dolomite just hit you.
Shout out to my nigga Dolomite. Let me appreciate you, doggy, as always.
Yeah, I got you, fam. I'm peeking at the chat.
Man, we got so much though. Like we're seeing prospective talents on the rise.
Me too. That's what I was coughing about. My bad, Mark. My bad.
Yeah, we're seeing prospective talents on the rise and everything, man. We just saw Lawrence Okoli go from being that dude nobody liked to watch to being a knockout artist on the back foot, hitting people like slick as shit, bro. Like just out of nowhere, Lawrence just completely changed. It's like, what the hell? Where you been? Where you been, man?
I
He
don't
might
know.
have been chilling with AJ and Angel, man.
I have been.
Shit.
Jesus Christ, fucking hell.
Yeah, my bad. This is some good shit, man. That's that high dollar shit, top shelf, baby.
Reaper Gang Radio, we are looking for,
Damn, radio.
CBD. We are looking to promote any CBD company. So, just putting out that, just putting that out there for any CBD companies listening in.
That's not a bad idea. CBD's on the rise, man. On the
It
rise.
is, man. It
Mikey
is for
Garcia.
real.
That's why Mikey Garcia getting fat and carrying on. He's doing good with his CBD. You ain't worried about that. It's Pacquiao or nothing for Mikey.
I think for real, honestly, all fucking sports, I think all athletes should be able to smoke marijuana within their treatment, because I think that when it comes, with actively smoking marijuana, I think it really helps in your recovery, with your appetite, everything, with your hydration intake, all of that shit. It's definitely a help and bounce back and recovery, especially after a fight. Imagine coming home all fucking bent up out of shape after going fucking 12 rounds and a straight banger and being able to sit back and smoke a joint. Like, bro.
Look, check this out too. Real quick, Mark. Check this out too. Doctors say you gotta drink more water. You're not drinking enough water. Put a gallon of water in front of the nigga and a couple of blunts. I'll bet you that shit be gone.
In a second.
Bet you it'll be gone.
Y'all remember though, they didn't Vegas, like Nevada, ban Nick Diaz for 5 years for smoking weed?
Yeah. It was either Nick. Yeah, it was Nick. Yep.
Nick got a 5-year ban for smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
I even seen a video where Floyd was in like the Mayweather gym. They said, "Yo, did you hear about Nick getting banned for 5 years?" Nick Diaz. He said, "What for?" And they said, "For smoking weed." They said, "Man, let that motherfucker live his life."
It's like, smoking weed. And see, that's crazy, because it's crazy how long it took for us. Of course, we all know other reasons why. It's crazy how long it took just for America just to get on the bandwagon and start, like, where they're literally letting up in a lot of Western states, starting to really consider and push through recreational use for marijuana and everything. Because my thing is this: if marijuana is good enough for cancer patients, really one of the only things, that's been helpful for cancer patients to help them recover when they're going through, the most excruciating levels of pain when it comes to, their cancer treatments and shit like that, then why wouldn't it be beneficial for any athlete?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
for sure.
All the signs point to it. So, I'm always about athletic wellness, but that's another thing.
I'm looking at news as well all over the place. So apparently Murat Gassiev is in the final stage of negotiations with his promoters to conclude a contract. Information about his next fight will be announced soon. So Gassiev will be back out again, so that's good.
Oh, sure.
We're getting some good stuff. 2021's fine to be fire, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I'm pleased. That's to say the least. Ronald, salute.
Ronald,
yo, that was weird. Yo, what's good? What's good, everybody? My phone just blacked out and then it came back on. I just wanted to say, like for people in the chat, like I just really just like to talk in the chat. Like I leave it up to these guys. These guys give me all the information I need every day in boxing. I just like talking boxing, like from the comment section. I'm not like a channel. I'm just me, yo. I just like talking boxing, but I give it up to these guys. I just wanted to clear that up real quick. That's all.
Oh man, there's no need to clear it up, because I mean, shit, you make it pretty much so fucking you make it so evident even Ray Charles could see it. So I think if anybody don't get that, then they probably a new stable on Reaper Gang Radio, so they would just need to get familiar. So if you're not hearing it from that man, I'm fact checking you. You know what I'm saying, at the same time, fact checking them at the same time. So it's always love with me, Ronald, and I feel like it should be always love with anybody else. I think we got a pretty structured and strong community that pretty much is all here for the same exact reasons. So
yeah, pretty much. Yo, I just wanted to come in and say that, and I'm looking forward to the fights tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, bro.
We in Gibraltar tomorrow.
Yo,
I
that
can't wait.
Bovada, yo, I gotta find a different betting site though, yo, because for some reason I won a little bit of money and then I had to place fucking I had to play fucking spades or some shit like I couldn't get my money out, so I gotta find a different betting site because that's what I like to do, bet on fights, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. See me, man. I wanna do more of that, but they gotta put it in a position to where it makes more sense for me, man. Because it's like week in, week out, man. It's just like, yo, I gotta either hope that they got a decent bet when it's based off of the round or the KO. You know what I mean? So other than that,
Yeah.
because if it's based on
You
a
got
50-50 premise, I ain't really getting that ever.
you guys are really fucking like handicapped when it comes to betting over there in America, aren't you? It's like y'all don't have
Man,
many
look.
options.
In
Nah,
Maryland,
nah.
you can't do no online betting. We just got, you know what I'm saying? We just got
Yeah,
casinos. We
yeah.
just got two of the major casinos over here in the country, but they don't do and they we just got them like what 2 years ago. Like they still don't do no online betting, none of that shit. The only thing
Nah.
you can do here is DraftKings and what's the other one? FanDuel, shit like that. That's
FanDuel,
it.
DraftKings, yeah. But Mark, it's like you handicap depending on where you at, because if you
Hmm.
out like in the west in some areas where there's a lot of legalized sports gambling, nah bro, it's wide open. It's just we don't have the apps, but like in Atlantic City or
Jersey, yeah.
Vegas
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
places like Tahoe, the joint down in Mississippi, I can't remember. If you go in there to the casino, shit, bro, I guarantee
Tennessee,
you they
yeah.
got 10
Hmm.
times what's on your books, like different ways to bet.
See,
There's all kind of
and
ways
that's
to
what I
bet
remember,
inside
D.
the
I
book.
just remember living in Atlantic City and we used to bet in the casino. I remember
Oh
that.
yeah,
That
they got all
Yeah, they
kind
got a
of
lot of
options. You
shit
can
out
bet
there.
any type of shit. Like you can bet that motherfucker shoe will come unlaced and he'll trip. You can bet on that
yeah.
bullshit. I
And
ain't
you can
bullshit.
cash out before you leave that motherfucker.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, but
That's all
see
I want
that
to
that
say,
it
yo. I'm gonna get back
because
in the chat, yo.
all
Y'all
right,
keep
family.
cooking, man.
All
This has
right,
been a
family.
great
No
build this
problem.
morning, yo.
All right, man.
All right, Ronald.
Appreciate it. Glad to have you.
All right,
Yeah,
boy.
man. I think where it just makes it tricky with us is like 50 different states. You know what I mean? With all this different regulations. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying? So
yep.
and all of them do things differently. And then you got blue and red states, and then all of them do things. They lean to operate a lot different. And it just comes to a point to where that's where we get fucked up. Cause like I could be in like it's like Maryland and Virginia are like exactly the same fucking place, right? There's nothing different about them. You'll take like it's literally like stepping on one sidewalk and stepping onto another. You could be from Maryland and Virginia. So, but it's like you hit
Yep.
those states and they operate completely different. Like one step off of one, you go into a Commonwealth state and shit like that. Everything fucking changes. So just like it's just wild shit. So that's why
DC
I'll bet and
too.
shit.
DC
Hmm.
too. Like you go from like Richmond. I lived in Baltimore, Howard County, DC, Richmond, and Norfolk, Virginia, right? So when you talk about Baltimore, Richmond, and DC, it's all three different places, but they all DMV though. But it's all three different total environments, fam.
Yeah, that's why they combine the DMV,
Yep,
DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and you
yep,
know what I'm saying that really compromises that a metropolitan area within the triangle and shit like that.
yep.
But that just shows you, you know what I'm saying, you could be on one soil and look exactly the same, step on one side of it, and then all of the laws and the restrictions on betting and everything completely change. The laws on how you cross the street to how
Yeah.
you smoke your weed, everything changes to the fucking prices on cigarettes to the job, to the pay, all of that shit drastically increases and decreases. It's just the weirdest shit in the world. But the one thing that we should have in line, no matter where it is, I feel like it's betting. Because regardless of wherever you at, no matter if you have it or not, that's the one thing people do, and they betting on sports. You can best believe it. Somebody betting on sports somewhere, whether they doing it online or offline. So I feel like that's something they need to be on top of,
But you
especially
know
in some
what?
of this
You know
boxing
what
shit.
we got him. You know what we got him in. Uh, we got him, Mister Two Hands, because like what you do with our nigga gun rights, and like what
Hmm.
I can do with Mark and shit. If you find somebody you could trust, like they can't stop us anyway. Because all I gotta do is send Mark some bread. I could trust Mark. You know what I mean?
Yep.
and you could trust gun rights. Now, just make sure it's somebody you could trust, guys. Don't take my advice.
Don't get
Just
that
somebody
shit
gonna run off
anybody.
with your bread.
Yeah. Don't give anybody no fucking bread unless you know they're gonna give it back to
Yeah,
you.
right. Don't blame D.
Yeah.
Jeff for your ass being stupid.
Yeah, what y'all, yo, don't be like what they call them up, New York. Don't be no Herb. Don't be no
Don't
Herb.
be
Just
no
give
Herb,
any
nigga.
Tom, Dick, and Harry your money, and then they just run off with your shit, nigga. You
Shit,
just
D.
looking
Jeff
out
said to
crazy
give it
out
the
here.
money. D. Jeff
You
ain't
you
tell you to be stupid, motherfucker.
you call you done Zelle the Cash App, and if they talking about Zelle or Cash App, don't do it, because you can't
Yeah,
get it back. Yeah,
that's right.
PayPal ass.
That's
But
right, man.
that's how that's the way it is. Because hey man, shout out to Mob, man. Because look, I done made some money. You know what I mean? I done made some money with gun rights out in Vegas. But
Yeah.
but that just shows you how unbalanced the scale is on how I feel like the competitive betting is based on our particular sport. Because I've literally only placed maybe 2 or 3 bets with them, and more so 2 of them were more based on football than anything else. Like I even find, you know what I'm saying, outside of like main events with the UFC, if you're not thinking outside of like the most dominant characters, I found like a lot of uneven betting for me there. So it's just like it all depends on what it is at that particular time, because that shit
Mhm.
switches, man. But it's like I said, it's more round by round knockouts for me right
Yeah.
now than anything.
Shit,
I
man.
guess
I'm
so.
comfortable sending Mark 10,000,
Oh
20,000.
yeah.
I'm not even
I dropped
capping
the whole
either.
bag on him.
I'm not even capping. I'll send him that much money. Blink of an eye. No sweat. Don't sleep
Yeah,
like a baby.
if the bet hits, you're gonna get it back as soon as like the fucking shit processes through PayPal.
Yeah, when I sent Mob that bag, look, man, I didn't fucking hesitate to send it to him. Look, I literally got it like we was literally talking on the phone, maybe no more than a week or 2 weeks before that, and I sent him that fucking bag. And I mean, I didn't hesitate or even worry about it because I already knew. But see, that comes through the line of communication though that I've done genuinely had with certain individuals on here. Where I know there's a few individuals on here. If I grab a number and I'm talking to them, I guarantee you my money gonna come back regardless, because you know who certain, not saying completely, but you get a good idea of who people are intuitively, you know what I'm saying, by having so much dealings with them through this shit.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, like look, like there's certain people I know that like if I was, let's say I was going over to the States, right? I was going over to the States and I'm like, man, I'm gonna need some weed because I'm going out, like, let's say I'm going out there 2 hands way. I literally cash app those motherfuckers the money, be like, yo, can you get me some good fucking shit? Because I'm gonna be out there in two
Yes,
weeks.
sir. That
I
should
I
be
guarantee.
already had that shit
that should
here.
be
You gonna
waiting
just be
for you.
picking that shit
Exactly.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah, here, take this stinking shit on, nigga.
Just like if they said, if they asked me, same thing had happened. Like I'd be fucking there at the airport underneath the
Mm.
fucking thing. Like, here you go, buddy.
Yo, I wanted to ask y'all boys something too. What y'all
Yo,
boys think about Masaroshi Nakatani versus Vasily Lomachenko?
Great.
I,
God,
Great.
I can sum it up in
unexpected or
I
nah?
can I can sum it up in one word: sexy. It's a sexy
That's
fight,
it.
bro. It is
Hey,
a sexy fight.
it
Nah, it's
is
not
highly
unexpected,
appealing.
bro. It's not unexpected because I talked about this shit like a while ago. Nakatani, Bob Arum, they
Yeah, they
fought.
first brought this up as before even Valdez won against Berchelt. This fight was being talked about in like,
Yep,
I
yep,
think late January, early
Mm.
January.
yep.
And shout out to Nagatani for being literally, Bob Arum's supposed crash test dummy to come to proving himself significantly both times and coming out on the other side and saying, no, fuck you. I'm everything but that. And getting
Fact.
himself in this type of fucking position. That shit means something. That shit defines everything in fucking boxing that we want it to be. That's something that that's the integrity of boxing right there.
That's
That's
facts,
that's
bro.
how you move, man. Because Masaroshi fucking forcefully had to make his fucking name that people are mentioning right now.
Yep.
Because what was he before the Tiafimo situation? And
He
I
was
mean,
he was
wow,
the #1 welterweight coming out of Japan, and he was
true.
ranked. He was ranked pretty well on the world level, but I agree
But you
with
know
you.
what I mean.
No.
Contextually speaking,
Yeah, I was about to say no. I agree with you 100%. That's what I was about to say because Bob Arum did. He sent them in there to be a crash dummy. He sent them in there to get fucked up by Teofimo. He didn't know he
Yeah.
was going to give Teofimo that kind of fight, so he vindicated himself that time. Then he comes off of retirement, off of weeks in the hospital injury, and they sent him in there for crash dummy again. Okay, let's let Felix Verdejo get this win under him so we can pit Felix Verdejo against somebody and make some money. No, upset that and beat the shit out of Felix Verdejo. So, hey man, well not beat the shit out of him, but he knocked him out pretty good after he recovered. You know,
man, it's like yo, like that is like one big fucking package of fucking redemption. You know what I'm saying? Like it truly is because like when you know your fucking position just to be another individual's fucking Johnny or some shit like that. Basically, you know what I mean? Just his throwaway guy.
Yeah.
If you in position to be that guy and you come out to be everything but that guy, and then that shit reinvigorates you to just be a fucking beast. Like, and now you taking on another fucking beast with another particular skill set that is gonna be completely fucking. It's gonna be it's a nuisance, a fucking nuisance to everything that you possess, man. But at the same time, his skill set, that smasher, that fucking that never say die smasher type of technique that he has, is gonna be fucking really disruptive. And his aesthetics, the Vasily Lomachenko skill set, man. I'm excited for that one, man.
It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. The Nakatani, I'm happy that he's got that fight because that's also a good payday for him as well. And it is good. I've just got Loma beating him because I feel that dude's punch resistance is gone. That Teofimo fight took a lot out of him because Verdejo don't hit like no Teofimo, bro. Not trying to be funny or nothing. He don't. He
But
don't.
he
And
was
he dropped
getting
a big
hit too
twice
by
and had a pretty.
Verdejo.
And then after that fight, yes, he recovered, but his punch resistance is waning.
Yeah, man. Those were two back-to-back fucking punishing fights. You know what I'm saying?
And now he's got Loma with that type of footwork.
And the volume. And you know he's gonna come in with a way higher volume due to the perception of, the last fight. So
And the body punching.
yeah, he's going to work. And plus just the style automatically makes it extremely disruptive for, you know what I'm saying, Masaroshi, considering the fact that, I mean, you're dealing with a very, very slick, extremely high Q boxer puncher, with a very awkward point-to-point skill set that's just really going to offset you in a lot of ways. So while you plundering forward, he's just going to be looking to just sneak in hella points from all different fucking angles while you straight streamlining it. So it's going to be hell for him.
Loma better be careful though because
I was
got
about
a
to
little
say.
pop with him. Goddamn,
I was about to say.
He got some
He's
snap.
not
He got some
your
snap on that
average.
right hand, bro.
He's a true 135. He's a true 135er. You know what I'm saying? That can go
hey,
up
watch
another
your
notch.
ass in there, Mr.
So,
Postman.
Come on now,
think
two hands. He ain't no true 135. He's a true 154 pounder. That dude's huge.
Yeah, he can fight at 140.
you know what I
He's
mean.
6 foot. He got that.
You know what I mean. That's
No,
why
I
I
know
said
what
he
you
can
mean.
go up a notch. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm
ain't
saying.
used to them big boys.
So that awkward smashing capability, that sometimes, fuck it, when I'm in trouble, it ain't really I'm trying to dial up and figure shit out. I'm just gonna wing it and let my fist figure it out. That shit might lead to a connection that's gonna put, you know what I'm saying, our buddy Lomachenko in a little bit of trouble. So I'm liking, you know what I mean, the way it kind of weighs out because it's the unexpected kind of activities, the shit that I truly appreciate.
That size difference is gonna be funny as fuck.
Oh my god, it's abnormal. It's fucking abnormal.
It's like because when Teofimo was in there with Loma did look a bit small next to him. And when Teofimo was next to Nakatani, he looked like a fucking midget.
Hey, but remember we just saw Valdez and motherfucking Burchelt too. And we can definitely say that Lomachenko ain't no Valdez.
No. About the same size as Valdez, though.
Yeah.
What y'all think about Shakur talking about telling Valdez to come get that work?
Well, the way I look at that is, I'm gonna say something. When Shakur's saying "come get that work," I think
Yeah.
it should be Shakur going to get that work, not the other way.
I agree. I do agree with that, Mark. I do agree with that. But again, still, it's Shakur said, because they got their thing too. People were saying that Valdez ducked Shakur at 26. So they got history behind that too. So, and Valdez is like, I ain't ducking nobody.
Oh shit.
That would be a good fight, man. I mean, shit, that's Valdez showed a whole lot, man. Shakur could be in some trouble because look, man, he ain't been up against nobody like Valdez at all.
He ain't been up against nobody.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said nobody
Period.
close. Nobody close. So
He ain't been up against nobody. Who's he beat? Toka Khan Clary?
that's a crazy step up there. That is a crazy step up there. I'll tell you this though. I will say this. If Shakur was to go in there and get that job done, I don't think there should be any more questions about that kid.
No, there shouldn't be. Oscar Valdez is a terrific fighter. He's proven it throughout his career. There's a reason he's where he's at. He's a 2-weight world champion. He's unbeaten. He's got some damn good names on his resume from Quigg all the way to fucking Miguel Berchelt. That says something. That says something about him.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 has dropped.
He'll be back. But yeah, man, that shit would be lovely, fam. That would be lovely. I ain't even gonna lie, man.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah, Mark,
excited.
did y'all hear this? Boxing Monster just put it in. We was talking about this. They reported 35K already sold for
Canelo.
Yeah. Ticket sales, like these tickets is flying out the door, man.
2 days.
Oh, you already know. That shit's selling. Anything that dude do, it's selling. And now that it's got,
But
you know what I'm saying,
Hudds.
Billy Joe Saunders attached to it.
But 2 Hudds. Errol Spence is the biggest star in Texas.
Biggest star in Texas is the Lone Star. That's about it. Or the biggest star in Texas is the Cowboys. So fuck that.
But in terms of boxing, that's the narrative. Spence is the biggest. He's the biggest star, right?
I'm going to sleep on that one. I swear, it's like I just hate that fucking whole conversation, because this whole conversation of certain individuals being stars, I'm just talking about in the realm of fucking all of them that it's usually surrounded with. I'm just like, man, ain't none of these motherfuckers there yet, man. Just kill that shit. Bunch of fucking fan base analyzers and shit.
It's only 2 guys like that can fight opponents and still make money off of fighting just about anybody, and that's Joshua and Canelo.
Yes.
Everybody else, like, you gotta have a dance partner. If you don't have a dance partner, then you ain't really doing all them numbers like that.
Ding, ding, ding. You are absolutely correct, because we all know that when it comes to all of these other motherfuckers' number, we looking at them shits like it's a goddamn lottery. We don't know if that shit gonna be high or gonna be low. You know what I'm saying? You don't know you don't know where that shit gonna land. Is it gonna be 100,000? It's like an auction at 100,000, 300,000.
There is one other
200,000.
there is one other guy in boxing who can fight anybody and just make money. Murata. People don't mention him, but he's a banger out in Japan.
Oh yeah, over Japan. Yeah, he does.
Fucking, bro, you talking 40 million people tuning in?
Yeah.
It was 15. It was over 15. Didn't he get like over 15 million views or some shit on his last fight?
17.5 million.
17.5.
When he
That's
fought
over 50.
When he fought Rob Brandt, it was 22 mil.
Right. Ain't nobody doing numbers like that, bro.
Look, man. And you can't, that just, dude, that's not even a handful of fucking fighters in a pool of thousands.
Thousands, man. Crazy.
You can throw Manny Pacquiao.
You can throw Manny Pacquiao with, but even his, you know what I'm saying,
he doesn't
financial, his shit is even significantly dropping considering his age, where he's at in his career. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's in the twilight of it.
yes and no, two hands, because
Depending on opposition, though.
no, this is what I was about to say, fam. He's got sort of like the Murata effect. I was talking to a
He
coach,
do. He do.
a trainer that was the Filipino trainer that's out there. He said when Manny fights, no matter who he fights, they shut the country down, fam. Like people cook
Now,
out
I
and
should
they
have said
fucking
this.
all fucking supporting, you know what I mean? So Manny
Oh
is like,
yeah,
he's like that. He got that Murata effect. Don't matter who he fight, that
right. See,
motherfucker's gonna
see
have
what I
views
should have
up
said is
yin yang.
it's not going to carry what it used to carry. Like it's still gonna sell. Like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you look at Broner, Keith Thurman, all of them, they're still gonna sell, but it ain't gonna be what it used to be, like that crazy ass Manny mania, like but it's
Yeah.
still gonna be, Manny time. But
But
just
do you know
not
what's
on the same
crazy about
pace.
that though? He's from a different continent, and that's only in America, like doing 500K with Thurman and stuff. When you start
Right.
getting into his viewing figures around the world on those fights, they were
Yeah.
huge,
Yeah.
Massive.
huge.
He's shutting shit
Massive.
down. He's like a cult figure, bro.
Yeah, this dude
Like
is
like
massive. Like he's the
yeah.
living legend. He's an
Yeah.
active legend. Like this dude
He's the
is not
greatest
only
Asian
the Hall
boxer
of
of all
Fame,
time.
and not only the Hall of Fame, he's going down as an ATG, and he's still fighting. So that's the magnitude of what Manny
Yeah.
is right
And
now.
now him fighting Michael Garcia, that shit gonna do numbers. So it's just like, Manny Pacquiao. But see, that's the thing when you get on that level too. As long as you fighting individuals that have that level of credibility, your fans always gonna support you. You know what I'm saying? You've earned that. So it's a level on, one, who you fighting, and it's just the love that you generated from all your hard work. So I mean, shit. But at the end of the day, it's still only four motherfuckers. That shit is fucking shocking, bro. Like four, and how many belts are just scattered out there?
Yeah, that's
That
crazy.
puts a lot of shit in perspective.
You know, Manny Pacquiao could whip his ass and do 100K on pay per view.
What in his sleep? He ain't got to get out of his bed, motherfucker. Put it. Look, you can take any Tom, Dick, and Harry off the fucking street. I'm talking about my old high school janitor. Shout out to Mr. fucking Stewart, man. Smoking fucking weed in the fucking janitor's closet and shit like that. Shout out to Mr. Stewart, man. Hope I ain't put you out there too crazy. But yeah, you could take Mr. Stewart, old fucking flubby ass, throw him on a goddamn scale and shit like that, put gloves on him, and 100,000 motherfuckers already gonna buy the tickets before they ever even saw his face, ever even heard of him, don't know where he's coming from. That bitch has already done 100,000.
And you know what else? Like he's sitting on a bullet in the chamber, bro. The second he says, "This is my last fight," that thing's gonna be mega.
It's gonna sell
If
out
he
everything.
like, there'll be people all around the world thinking,
Crying and
"I never
shit like
got
a
to see
Michael
him."
Jackson concert.
Yeah, I never got to see him. Those tickets will be gone, bro, in minutes.
These motherfuckers gonna be falling out. This motherfucker could come out throwing roses and shit. Bitches passing out like fucking MJ just did a moonwalk and shit like that. This motherfucker just gonna like everybody's gonna cry and shit. And he's walking out the fucking ring. Like, yo, I swear to God, it's just gonna be the most fucking emo shit to ever experience in life.
He walks in the ring singing "Sometimes When We Touch" by Dan Hill.
Oh yeah, he gonna sing before he leave that jump with a fucking Hennessy fucking sponsorship standing behind him. Somebody holding like 2 liters and shit like that. And sometimes when we time.
Have you heard that, man? It's fucking hilarious.
The motherfucker.
Honesty is too much, and I have to
Bro,
hold my eyes.
sponsored by Geico. I can see that shit now, dog. I'm
Sponsored by
telling you.
Vicodin, bro.
Hey,
Enemy of
look,
Superman.
this motherfucker Manny, he would definitely go out like that. No exaggeration. Everything we just said, that's how that motherfucker would be leaving it. A bunch of crying motherfuckers. It would be the sickest fucking shit you would ever fucking see. And ESPN is going to highlight that shit for weeks. For fucking weeks. Be fucking terrible. But
yeah, dog. Reaper gang, bitches.
Yeah, I think that's about all I got for today, man. I got some shit I got to do now. Man, look, man. Y'all boys go ahead and get these people y'all final thoughts, man.
Hey man, look, here go my final thoughts. It's easy. Just learn how to flame everybody and learn how to give credit to everybody, and you'll find this much easier. Shout out to Mr. Two Hands, Reaper Game Radio, bitches. Peace out, Two Hands, Mark.
Peace out, my bro. Speaking Mind Sports Talk, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my brother D. Mark, it's on you.
Appreciate you having me on too, Hans. Yo, everybody, just remember, never hold your feet to the fire unless you want to get them things fucking singed to the ground. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, anytime, brother. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah, man, you don't want to end up with them black Mr. Deeds feet. But yeah, man, look, this is all I got to say out of everything that we've touched on. But mainly, you know what I mean, at the core of the whole conversation, look, man, leave all of that. Like, look, stop, motherfucking, man. Just take time, stop, breathe a little bit, think about it. Just think about it. Motherfuckers want to put you in a trick bag. Motherfuckers already got boxing in a trick bag, so it's on you. Take fucking 5. Think about what fucking is being said, and you break that shit down. Don't let a motherfucker determine how you feel about anything that's quoted, anything that's going on, because you got to look deeper than what it said. Because man, it's on people to try to sell you short in this game. Man, we already got to unpack enough shit that's going on. But y'all know how we unpack this shit, man. This Reaper Gang Radio, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody for stopping through and spending this time with me, with D Jeff, with Unrivaled. You know, man, and we're gonna be at this shit again, man. Monday, man. Reaper Gang Radio. As we always say at the end of this shit, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. It's the motherfucking boss. Respect though.